Erica believed she had finally found the man of her dreams, charismatic, kind, and too perfect to be true. But an unexpected comment from her best friend turns her world upside down. Amidst memories, unresolved feelings, and secrets from the past, she will need to discover what is true, what is false, and what truly lies within her own heart. Hello, my friends. I am Linda, and this is Linda Love Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. The autumn sun filtered through the translucent curtains of Erica's room, illuminating a dusty picture frame that rested on the dresser. In the photograph, two teenagers smiled with their faces close together. She, with braces and awkward curly hair, he, with a confident smile and green eyes that seemed to shine even in the still image. Erica ran her fingers over the surface of the picture frame, removing the thin layer of dust that had accumulated during her absence. It felt strange to return to her apartment after a year of travelling. Everything seemed smaller, quieter. Vince, she murmured to herself, feeling the name slip from her lips, as it had always done since she was 13, when she realised that her best friend had become something more in her heart. Vincent had been her constant for most of her life. They grew up together, sharing secrets, fears, and achievements. To him she was the perfect confidant. To her, he was the unrequited love hidden behind every smile, every piece of advice about other girls. The phone vibrated on the bed, interrupting her thoughts. It was a message from David. "Did you arrive safely? Call me when you can. I miss you." An involuntary smile appeared on her lips. David had been the unexpected surprise of her business trip. A project colleague in software development for a multinational company, he started as a professional mentor and gradually became much more. The following week after returning, Erica organised a dinner at her apartment to gather her friends. She was anxious. It would be the first time she would officially introduce David to her closest circle of friends, including Vince. "He's too perfect to be true," commented Anna, her college friend, while helping to set the table. "Smart, polite, cooks well, volunteers in a social project. He's making me question my relationship standards." Erica laughed, feeling her face blush. "Sometimes I can't believe it either. I never thought I would find someone like this, you know. After so many years being in love with Vince, you mean?" Anna added with a compassionate look. "Speaking of which, how was it at the airport? Did he seem strange when he saw you with David?" Erica sighed, remembering the unexpected encounter. Vince had shown up at the airport to pick her up, a surprise she hadn't expected. The expression on his face when he saw David by her side, hand intertwined with hers, had been hard to decipher. "It was strange. He was different. I can't explain it. Maybe just surprised to see me with someone." The intercom interrupted the conversation. The first guests had arrived, and the evening began to take shape. David was the last to arrive, immaculate in a navy blue shirt that highlighted his deep brown eyes. He brought with him a bouquet of sunflowers, Erica's favourite flowers, and a bottle of red wine. "Sorry for being late," he said with a shy smile that made dimples appear on his cheeks. "The traffic was impossible." Vince watched the scene from the other side of the room, his beer glass gripped more tightly than necessary. There was something about the way David looked at Erica that disturbed him deeply, a mix of admiration and care that he recognized but had never directed at her. The evening progressed with conversations and laughter. David charmed everyone with stories about the project he had worked on with Erica and about the volunteer work he did on weekends at a community centre. "Do you teach programming to underprivileged children?" asked Marco, another friend in the group. "Man, that's amazing." "It's the least I can do," David replied simply. "Technology can change the future of these children. My parents couldn't afford it when I was little, and I was lucky to have a mentor. I try to give back." Vince was listening to everything with growing discomfort. No one could be that perfect. There had to be something wrong, there had to be. When David got up to help Erica bring the dessert, Vince took the opportunity to observe him more closely. Don't you think you're being paranoid? Marco questioned when Vince shared his suspicions the next day while they played basketball on the neighborhood court. I'm telling you, man, there's something strange about him, insisted Vince, throwing the ball with more force than necessary. He seems too perfect for Erica. The fact that he never talks about past relationships. And did you see how he avoided talking about family when Anna asked? Marco caught the ball and spun it in his hands, thoughtful. Look, I'll be honest with you. You never cared about the guys Erica dated before. Why is it different now? The question hit Vince like a punch in the stomach. Why was it different? The answer was there, floating in his consciousness, but he wasn't ready to admit it. I'm just worried about her, he replied defensively. Erica is special. She deserves someone who is honest. Marco smiled knowingly. You know, everyone always knew that Erica was in love with you. Everyone except you, apparently. Vince froze, the ball slipping from his hands. What are you talking about? Man, seriously? She looked at you as if you hung the moon in the sky every night, since high school. How did you never notice? Marco's words opened a floodgate in Vince's mind. Suddenly, 1,000 moments with Erica took on new meaning, the lingering glances, the way she was always available for him, the way her face lit up when he arrived. In the following days, Vince could hardly think of anything else. He revisited old memories, now seeing them from a new perspective. And the more he thought about Erica, the more he realized how much he missed her during the year he was away. Not just as a friend, but as a constant presence that gave meaning to his days. Could it be that what he felt for her was deeper than friendship? The answer came one Sunday morning, when he found an old photo of the two of them at the graduation party. Erica was wearing a simple blue dress and had flowers in her hair. He remembered that night, how she looked especially beautiful, how they danced together, how he felt something strange in his stomach when she rested her head on his shoulder. At that moment, Vince understood. What he felt for Erica had always been there, dormant under layers of habit and familiarity. Vince's obsession with discovering something about David intensified. He scoured social media, asked discreet questions to mutual colleagues, and even accidentally bumped into him after work to try for a more personal conversation. It was during one of these investigations that he finally found something. Talking to a former college classmate of David's, he heard something that made his blood run cold. David! Yes, of course, I remember him. Brilliant guy. His wife Teresa was studying medicine, right? They got married very young. It was a surprise to everyone. Vince felt as if the ground had disappeared beneath his feet. Wife? Are you sure? Absolutely. They were childhood friends. They got married about 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Why? Did something happen to them? That night, the group of friends had planned to meet at a local bar to celebrate Anna's promotion. Vince arrived early, his heart racing with the information he carried. When he saw Erica enter, wearing an emerald green dress and with her hair down framing her face, he felt a pang in his chest. She was smiling beside David, who was gently guiding her by the waist. Without thinking twice, Vince crossed the bar and pulled Erica by the arm, drawing her away. We need to talk, he said, his voice tense. Vince? What is it? Are you okay? Don't believe him, he whispered, his eyes fixed on hers. He is married, Erica. The colour drained from her face. For a moment it seemed she would faint. What are you talking about? David. He's married. Married for 5 years to a woman named Teresa. A colleague of his told me. Erica looked at David, who was chatting animatedly with Anna and hadn't noticed the private conversation. No. It can't be true, she murmured, but uncertainty had already set in her eyes. With determined steps, she crossed the bar back to David and, without preambles, asked, Are you married? The silence that followed was answer enough. David's expression changed from surprise to resignation. Erica, I can explain, he began, but she was already walking away, tears in her eyes. Vince followed her out of the bar, finding her sitting on the curb, face buried in her hands. "Hey," he said softly, sitting next to her. "I'm sorry." "How could I have been so stupid?" she sobbed. "Always the same story, always believing in the fairy tale." Vince put his arm around her shoulders, pulling her closer. "You deserve the fairy tale, Erica. You deserve someone who truly sees you." She looked up, her red eyes meeting his. "Someone like you?" she asked, a mixture of confusion and sadness in her voice. Vince felt his heart race. It was now or never. "It took me a long time to realize, but yes, someone like me. Someone who has known you for years, and yet is surprised every day by who you are. Someone who finally understood that what they feel for you goes far beyond friendship." The words hung between them like autumn leaves, fragile, beautiful, loaded with meaning. "Vince," she began, but was interrupted by a voice behind them. "Erica, please, 5 minutes, that's all I ask." David was standing a few meters away, hands in his pockets, his face marked by anguish. Erica looked from Vince to David, confused. "Go home," Vince said softly. "I'll take you. You don't need to hear more lies." But there was something in David's expression, not despair or manipulation, but genuine sadness, that made Erica hesitate. 5 minutes, she finally agreed. No more than that. Vince watched as she walked away with David, feeling a mixture of anger and helplessness. He had just opened his heart, only to see her walk back to the man who had deceived her. The next morning, the doorbell of Vince's apartment rang insistently. When he opened the door, he found Erica standing there, her eyes red from crying, but with a serene expression. "Can we talk?" she asked. Vince nodded, leading her inside. The apartment was a mess, evidence of a sleepless night, filled with thoughts about her. "I heard David's explanation," Erica began, sitting on the sofa. "And then I checked the story with his parents." Vince waited, tense. "He is really married," she continued, "to Teresa, his childhood friend. But it's not what it seems." Erica explained how, 5 years ago, Teresa had been diagnosed with a serious illness and didn't have health insurance to cover the treatment. David, in an act of desperation and friendship, proposed they get married so she could use his health insurance. There was no romantic love between them, just a deep friendship and the desire to help. "Teresa is in remission now," Erica continued. "They had already started the amicable divorce process when we met. David didn't tell me because he was afraid of how I would react. And look, he was right about that." Vince absorbed the information, feeling simultaneously relieved that Erica hadn't been deceived and disappointed because the truth removed the obstacle between her and David. "Then, are you going to stay together?" he asked, trying to keep his voice neutral. Erica looked at him for a long time before answering. "I think so. But what happened also made me think a lot about the two of us, Vince." "The two of us?" "Yes. About what you told me last night, about feelings that go beyond friendship." Vince felt his face heat up. "I have felt something for you for years, Vince. Years. Hoping that one day you would look at me and see more than your best friend." She paused, taking a deep breath. "When I finally accepted that this wouldn't happen, I allowed myself to look towards other horizons. That was when I met David. And he is wonderful, Vince. He sees me. He values me. I didn't have to wait years for him to realize that I exist as a woman." Her words hit Vince like a dagger. She was right. He had wasted years without realizing the treasure he had by his side. "Vince, I need to ask you something," Erica continued, leaning forward. "Do you really have romantic feelings for me? Or did you just feel jealous when you saw that I could be happy with someone else?" The question hung between them, heavy and uncomfortable. Vince wanted to respond immediately, to say that of course he loved her romantically. But the doubt planted by Erica made him truly reflect. He began, uncertain. "I really missed you when you were away, but I don't know if I can imagine myself kissing you or—" The sentence hung in the air, unfinished. Erica smiled, a relieved and understanding smile. "That's what I thought," she said softly. "Vince, I think what we feel for each other is a deep love, but not romantic. At least not anymore." She reached out, holding his hand. "You have been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. You are my safe haven, my confidant. But I think we confused our feelings when we found ourselves apart, or when we realized that the other could move on." Vince felt a sudden clarity in her words. It was true. What he felt for Erica was love, a deep, unconditional love, but not the kind of love that made his heart race when he imagined kissing her. "You're right," he finally admitted, squeezing her hand. "Sorry if I complicated things." "You didn't complicate it," she smiled. "You just made us have this conversation that maybe we've needed for a long time." They remained silent for a few moments, allowing the newly discovered truth to settle between them. "So, you and David?" Vince finally asked. "We're going to talk. He deserves a chance to explain everything properly, and I need to decide if I can trust him again. But I like him, Vince. Very much." Vince nodded, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders, the weight of expectations he had created himself. "Friends forever?" Erica asked, extending her hand as if sealing a deal. Vince smiled, taking her hand in his. "More than friends," he replied. "Brothers forever." When Erica left, Vince stood by the window, watching her walk down the sunny street. He felt light, as if he had finally found the answer to a question he didn't even know he was asking. Sometimes, the truest love is not the one that makes us sigh with desire, but the one that gives us roots, that knows us completely and, even so, remains by our side. Erica would always be his safe harbor, just as he would be hers. And maybe that was more precious than any romance. If you enjoyed the story, please leave a comment with a rating from 1 to 5 to show how much you liked it. Also, watch the video that is now appearing on your screen. See you soon.